Hey there, it's Patrick Conley from AutomationHeroes.com. Today we're going to show you how to do a cool little trick where we can create a web form on your website that sends an email automatically to your customer service team, regardless of what customer service app you're using. We like to use FuseDesk, but this also works if you're just sending it straight to an email account like Outlook or Gmail. So first thing we want to do is we'll set up a new campaign. And we'll call this one let's call this customer service question. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is start out by having someone fill out a web form. So we'll grab this sign up for newsletter snippet and we'll rename this to be customer service question. Okay, so on the web form, we can keep this pretty simple. I will start with the first name and email. You might even want to add, last name. That's pretty common to want to know the person's last name if it's a customer service related thing. Their email, and then what we want to do is also add a new question. So what we can do is grab the field snippet here and do other. And let's see, we want to create a custom field here, and we're going to want to grab the text area. So this is going to make, instead of just a text box that looks like this, it'll actually make a nice area where they can type in a paragraph. So we'll call this one customer service question. Okay, and you want to pick a tab and a header to actually save this custom field, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. For now, we'll just put this in the custom field, which is like the default stuff. Okay, do save. And we'll make this required that they have to ask a question. Cool. So now if you wanted to rename this so that it made a little more sense for the person using it, you could say, let's see, let's call this, can we help you, with a question mark. And so this will actually, even though it's storing in Infusionsoft as a customer service question field, it will, to the customer, it will look like, how can we help you? So just want to show you real quick where this is being stored when people fill out this field. If you go over to your custom fields area, you get there through your Infusionsoft admin settings. And you want to pick the contacts table here and then do go. Okay, so this is going to show you all of your custom fields that you have saved. And you remember before when we picked the tab and the header that was going under? So the tab is your custom, is this gray area at the top. And what that is, if you look at a custom contact record, let's find somebody. I'll pick myself. So over here you've got all these tabs across the top of someone's contact record, right? So this custom fields is the one that by default is set up. Now let's say that we wanted to add a new one. So let's say we want a tab for customer service issues. Save a new tab. And so now in Infusionsoft, if I refresh this, you can see now I have a new tab up here. So you can save all of your specific things for that particular use under this tab. Now this isn't required, this is just kind of extra fancy stuff to keep all your data more organized. The next thing is those headers. So the custom fields here is the header. So for the, let's see, so here we might want to add a new header called customer service question. And we want to store that under the tab customer service, and we'll save that header. So now if we go back to the contact here, do a refresh, you can see that now we have this customer service question located here. So finally, if you wanted to, we could add that field specifically under the customer service question, or alternatively we can just edit this one that we already created and save it as customer service question. Okay, so now that just reloaded. So if I reload this one more time, you'll see that the customer service question information is now stored under this tab and header. Cool. So let's go back to the campaign and go back one more time, just refresh this guy. Okay, cool. So now that we know where that information is being stored, we are pretty much done with this web form. You might want to clean it up a little bit by just going into your formatting and the style. And if you're going to use the JavaScript version on your site, usually you'll want to pick like the white background just so it doesn't clash with your design. And then I like to center these submit buttons. That's not a big deal. You can, of course, always style them as much as you like. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is set up your thank you page. Usually you redirect them to a page on your website, or pick, kind of set this up customized here. I won't go through this process right now, but you have a lot of options using this WYSIWYG editor to make this look however you'd like. Finally, I'm going to turn off this send an email to option because I don't want to be emailed every time they have a customer servicing, and I'll show you why in a second. We'll set that up a little bit more intelligently. Finally, the code is how you grab this and install it on your website. So if you wanted to use the JavaScript one, you grab this. Otherwise, you use the HTML code. Now, the thing to remember, though, is that if you grab this, this will only grab the version that was published most recently. So we haven't published this campaign, so as soon as we come back here and publish it, then this HTML code will change. So this is just something you want to keep in mind. As definitely make sure that you don't grab the HTML code until you've marked everything as ready, published it, and it's all ready to go. Then you can grab that code and put it on your site to make sure you have the most up-to-date HTML code. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. Now we want to connect this to a sequence. So I'm going to grab a sequence and connect these two. And let's call this one send question to CS team. Okay, so the first thing, I always like to grab a tag and say, just so you're denoting when people ask a question, we'll add a new tag that says asked customer service question. So that way you know on someone's contact record that they did ask a question. Just kind of helps you segment. The next thing we want to do is add an email, and the way you want to do this is, let's see, we'll title it. We're going to do a little tricky thing here with the email. So usually the way that this is set up is that it's going to come from the owner of this person and then send it to the email address on record. And we want to tweak these a little bit, so we're going to do a little ninja trick here. We're going to pull down the from and pick other. So we actually want this email to pretend it's coming from the contact itself, not your team. So we're going to say, we're going to grab our merge button here, and we want this to come from the most common first name, put a space in there, and then click last name. So that's coming from the person's first name, space last name, and then we want to have it come from the email address that's on their contact record. Okay, so then the next thing we want to do is pick this to address and change this to other also. And so we're going to send this to the address of your customer support team. So let's say, we'll say support at yourwebsite.com. So of course you'd want to make this email address whatever it is. If you're using FuseDesk, which that's what we use for our customer service, you would want to have this email be the email that feeds into your FuseDesk app. So for instance, if in your email settings you have support at yourwebsite.com forward to FuseDesk, this is the address you'd want to use. Now also to keep in mind, if you're using something like FuseDesk that only does text only, you'd want to be typing all of this information into the plain text field. So what we will do right now is you could do the same process for both HTML and text. We're gonna just do text, and then you could always grab this exact same code and pop it into your HTML. So we want to get rid of this stuff real quick, and we're going to first enter subject. We'll say customer service question from. So this is going to say customer service question from this person. So that's just telling your support team who's asking the question. And in the bottom here, we're going to throw their name in again, maybe even grab their email just in case. So this is going to look like the email is coming from this person, and then we want to merge in their question. So we're going to do the merge again, and we're going to go to the custom fields, and we'll find their customer service question here. So what this email is going to look like is it's going to say it's going to come from your contact to your customer support team with a subject line. You can change this, but basically we're saying that it's coming from your customer, and then it's going to merge in their question that they just filled out on the web form, and then have it come from their first name, last name, contact email. The reason we're doing this also is that if you use something like FuseDesk that's intelligent, it will pull this information in and know exactly who to connect that contact record to. So it's really helpful to speed that process up. I'll click over to ready. Oop. So one thing, since I still in the HTML section have this basic stuff, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. I'll delete some of this junk and go to white. Select. Let's see. We'll get rid of that and throw in just a regular paragraph snippet. And again, you have to be careful because some of the customer service plugins will only do text only, so this information won't really be relevant. But let's pretend that you're sending this just to your support person's using Gmail, so this would go straight to them. So this is the same information, it's just in the HTML version instead of the text version. Okay, so click ready here, and this is now ready to go. So we're just going to hit ready on that sequence, go ahead and publish, and now this web form is ready to go grab. So we'll run over here and we will grab the code. And so again, you can use the JavaScript code, or if you want to style it a little bit more yourself, you can grab the HTML code, pop that onto your website, and then as soon as someone sends an email through this form, or does a web form and fills it out, it will automatically send an email to your customer support team at whichever email address you specified. So, hope that's helpful. Thanks.